Steelers Nation, we are about 4 weeks away from the NFL draft, literally less than a month away. So now it's time for us to get into, once again, another Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft.
Because why the hell not?
Post-free agency. Now, if you guys have been following our previous two, our pre-free agency one and our first post-free agency, which was uploaded last week, we traded up. We are not trading up in this one. We're staying put. In fact, spoiler alert, there are 0 trades in this mock draft.
No trades.
As much as I do believe the Steelers are going to trade up in some form or fashion, whether that's day 1 or day 2 or however they're going to do it, we're going to stay put. So we're going to have all 12 picks.
This should be interesting.
To our disposal here. There's probably going to be another long upload, so appreciate y'all for watching. But we're going to get into this mock draft. We're going to go an entirely different approach. This is kind of like a best player available
scenario.
Pretty much. As well as also taking needs, because some of the BPA picks we take are definitely needs for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So let's just get right into it.
Let's get right into it, man.
The 21st overall pick. We don't take receiver. We go guard. We select guard, and I think you guys know exactly who that is. So with the 21st overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select, and I'm going to try my damn best right here, Olavavega Ioane, left guard out of Penn State.
I think you got it right.
I hope so.
Olavavega Ioane out of Penn State. Yes, we're going to delusionally believe that he is going to be there at 21 because anything is possible. Who would have thought Patsy would have been there at the late of the first round in 2010? Who would have thought DeCastro would have been there in the first round in 2012? Anything can happen, man. I know a lot of people are already saying he ain't getting past the Ravens at 14. The Ravens got cold feet, so they're probably going to take him at 14. You might be right, but you could also be wrong because our thinking is they have Andrew Voorhees, they signed John Simpson, and they took a tackle, switched to guard Emory Jones last year out of LSU in the 3rd round. I know he didn't see a lot of playing time last year, but I would imagine Eric DeCosta is going to want to invest in that a little bit, and they might go another direction. They might go receiver. They might go corner. They might go edge again. They might go more on the D-line.
They might go tight end, bro.
Is there a chance he could fall to 21? There is a chance. How much of a chance? I guess we're going to find out come draft night.
How much I'm going to ride on that chance.
Yes. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Of course there is.
Olavavega Ioane. Bro, he's obviously the best guard in the draft, the best offensive line prospect in the draft, and might be the best offensive line prospect coming into the draft in the last 8 to 10 years, probably since Quentin Nelson when he came out of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Ioane would literally complete this offensive line at left guard. He is a natural bully at left guard, and your offensive line is settled for the next 10 years. Like, you're talking a complete young offensive line on rookie contracts that would ideally eventually get much earned extensions, and your offensive line is set for the next decade. We don't got to worry about the offensive line no more. We don't have to worry about the trenches no more because what we've invested would solidify it for the foreseeable future and give whoever the quarterback's going to be this year, next year, and onward an exact security blanket that one could wish for entering the NFL. I mean, this guy's a beast. This guy is a bully. This guy is a mover. This guy is just a fighter on the offensive line, man. He really is. It's crazy how his career started because he started at Penn State in 2022 as a complete redshirt. Then he redshirted as a true freshman in I think 2023, having 5 starts in all 13 games played. Only 5 starts, giving up 3 sacks. But that would be the last time he gave up a sack at all in his Penn State career because he would play every single game in 2024 and 2025 and allow 0 sacks.
That's it.
In fact, I believe only 4 hurries last year.
Unbelievable.
By the way, he has only committed 5 penalties and 2,304 snaps in his entire career, 3 of them occurring in 2024. This guy gets better as the years go on. This guy gets better year after year after year. This guy is just a stout guy on the offensive line at left guard. He is just a natural protector in pass protection. Nobody gets past this guy. Like, he is so strong. He is so big. He is so stout at 6'4", 320. He's not easy to get around. He's not easy to bull rush. He's not easy to beat with any move. Like, if anyone tries to bull rush this guy, he ain't moving back. Like, this guy is in complete what do you call it?
Anchor. He's a true anchor at the left guard position. I mean, look at his build. 6'4", 320 pounds. He's strong in pass protection, an absolute molar in the run game. Like, everything that you want in a left guard, Ioane is exactly that, to fill the left guard position. The Steelers did finally sign. They did confirm that they signed Brock Hoffman, but I don't really see him as a starter, not right out the gate. I see him more as a depth guy or a guy that's really going to get a chance to compete to start for that position. But nonetheless, it doesn't take away guard as an immediate need for the NFL draft with the signing of Hoffman.
Well, especially if Ioane is there at 21. We don't know exactly who all is going to be there at 21. Ioane just might. And if he's there, listen, it might be very difficult for Omar Khan and Andy Waddle and Mike McCarthy, who, if you look at all their track records,
it's trenches.
It's been the trenches. Look at Mike McCarthy's last several years in Dallas. It was Tyler Guyton. It was Mozzie Smith. It was Tyler Smith. I mean, look at Waddle and Omar Khan. All they've known, all they've selected in the first round is the trenches. Broderick, Fatano, Harmon. So if they go trenches again, it's not the worst way to go.
No,
Frankly,
it's not.
It's not the fanciest way to go.
It never is the fanciest. It's the most necessary.
It's the most necessary, and it's definitely the safest. And Ioane would be a great, unbelievable pick at 21 if he indeed is there. In this mock, we're going to say, you know what? Why the fuck not? He's going to be there at 21, and he's going to be the next Pittsburgh Steelers left guard for the next 10 to 14 years. I don't know. This guy's going to be an elite guard in the league, bro. He is such a natural pass protector. He's a mauler in the run game. He's a good mover for his size, and he hardly ever gets beat in the bull rush or he gets beat with strength. He's just so strong, physical hands at the line. His grip strength is unbelievable. You can't ask for much more than a guy like Ioane in the first round at the left guard position.
Damn straight. He's just a strong offensive lineman. Like, he is the prototypical guard that you want for years to come, for basically a decade.
Right.
He can hold it down for sure.
Now we're going to go to the second round. We're not going to take receiver here either. Yes, we're going to wait on receiver, as much as I do think receiver is still a big necessary move that they need to address, especially early. They have enough day 2 picks that they could wait. Wide receiver is stacked, I will admit that. There's a drop-off from the top 3 in the remainder, or the first-round guys in the remainder, but they have enough day 2 picks they could wait. And in the second round, we're going to go BPA again. This one is another arguable, is he going to be there? We don't know. This guy reminds me a lot of Peyton Wilson coming out of NC State, except this guy comes out of Texas Tech. You guys already know who we're going with. With the 53rd overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jacob Rodriguez, inside linebacker out of Texas Tech. This guy should be getting first-round buzz. He should. Now, if you look at linebacker very early is unbelievably stacked. And there's a lot of first-round guys early on. There's C.J. Allen, in no particular order. C.J. Allen. There's Sonny Styles. There's Averill Reese, right? There's so many other guys, right? Anthony Hill I really like as well. There's Jake Golday. There's so many linebackers coming into this class early on that's going to be taken in the first round. It's unbelievable. Rodriguez is a splash player, and he should be getting first-round buzz, but he's not. That don't mean he won't sneak up late into the first. Someone could take him. I could definitely see the Chiefs for some reason taking him. But honestly, if he falls to 53 because of how stacked linebacker is and everybody's draft board's different, this could be another BPA selection for the Steelers, especially since they did bring him in for a top 30 visit. And they did hire his outside linebacking coach from Texas Tech to be the Steelers' new outside linebacking coach. That is CJ Ayu.
Yep, so the connection was already there with the Steelers, and I find it interesting how they did bring him in for a top 30 visit. So it goes to show that they are looking at linebacker for sure because of Patrick Queen's future with the team. We don't know if he's going to get extended. We know he's coming into the last year of the contract that he signed just a couple years ago.
Who's to say he doesn't get traded? Maybe it's like a pick-in situation where there were trade talks and he wasn't traded yet. Who's to say he won't get traded later on? We don't know what his future holds. We still need to address linebacker. Jacob Rodriguez is one of the biggest splash-playing linebackers in this entire draft class.
Oh, dude, he has 6 career interceptions in college, including 4 last season, with 13 career forced fumbles, which 7 of them came from last year as well.
Which tied an NCAA single-season record. This earned him Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Not just that, he got multiple awards, including the Dick Butkus Award for the best college football linebacker in 2025. This guy knows how to attack the football. This guy's a turnover machine. Funny thing about him, he started his career, you would never guess this, as a quarterback. This guy was a quarterback on campus at Virginia in 2021 before he transferred to Texas Tech. How about that?
And then he shifted to linebacker. He made the move full-time to the position, and since then, it's been his calling card. Crazy talent, crazy speed. He got that sideline-to-sideline ability. He's got a knife for the football. I mean, his turnovers and his ability to force the ball just tells that right there.
He's even got a decent build for linebacker position, 6'1", 231. Like Rob said, he's got the sideline-to-sideline range. He's got the coverage ability. He can work as a pass rusher. He's had 6 sacks the last 2 years. He has had 21 and a half tackles for loss the last 2 years. So he's an elite run defender.
Just fantastic.
This guy reminds me a lot of Peyton Wilson coming out of NC State, only a lot healthier. I don't think this guy's missed a game since 2023, where he only played 5 games due to injury, where eventually he bounced back and was a 2-time captain on the team from 2024 to 2025, and then broke out the last 2 years. Considering he was a former quarterback and making that shift, he's still somewhat learning the position. That says a lot about what this guy does, man. His work ethic, his drive, and how quick of a learner he is, and just how explosive of a natural athlete he can be on the football field. At the linebacker position, you bring him in. The Steelers brought him in for a top 30 visit. He has that chemistry with our outside linebacker coach as he was his outside linebacking coach at Texas Tech. You fill him in. I don't think he would have to be an immediate starter unless something happens to Patrick Queen. You bring him in on obvious pass downs where he could work in coverage. You want to have him work as early rundown defender because he's such a great run defender. He's got the sideline range. By all means, he could do that too. Any way that Patrick Graham wants to incorporate this guy early on into the league is a great way to go. There is only one concern. It is his age. He will be 24 once the season starts or shortly after the season starts. But considering he's still young at the position, and frankly, age is one of those things that's kind of a pet peeve of mine when it comes to the NFL. But when you look at the style of how this guy plays and the impact that he makes and the turnovers he forces and how much of a playmaker he is on the defense, which is what we need, Hakuna Matata. I'm not worried about his age.
No, I'm not going to harper on the age, even at the linebacker position. When you look at his film and look what he brings to the table, it's out of this world. He's a freak athlete. He's
a freak athlete with sideline-to-sideline speed and range and coverage ability. Works in the run game. If you want to work on special teams initially, by all means, get his feet wet, get him acclimated to the NFL speed. But this guy would come in, I think it would start his death, but I don't think it would take long until he sees some significant playing time as a future 3-down linebacker. Rodriguez is going to be a beast. He was a quick draft crush of mine. Like the second the season ended, I started looking into prospects. This guy tweaked my eye real quick. I'm like, that's a draft crush of mine. That is like one of my guys.
Yep.
Is Jacob Rodriguez. I don't know if he falls to 53. But it's very possible because Peyton Wilson fell because mostly due to injuries. But Rodriguez, he's not getting enough buzz. And that might just be because the linebacking class is super stacked. Like, it's unbelievable. The amount of linebackers you can get day 2 or day 1 even is unbelievable.
And again, every year when it comes to the draft boards are always different. It's always the case every single year. And we always question, like, why is this player dropping? Like, what's going on here? Like, did something come up last minute about this player? It always happens every single year. So there's a chance. There's a big chance. If he's there at 53, considering that the connection is there with his old linebacker coach, who's now our outside linebacker coach, and they brought him in for a top 30 visit, I wouldn't be surprised if this man's a Steeler.
And quite honestly, I think it would be best player available at 53. We haven't gone receiver yet, and that stops now at 76 with the pick we got from Dallas when we traded away Pickens. We're going to go wide receiver here because we need wide receiver, and we can't really stall any farther than that.
So how fitting to select a wide receiver with the pick that we acquired from trading away George Pickens.
Yes. So in the 3rd round with the 76 overall pick via Dallas, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Antonio Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson. Yes, this is primarily a slot-only wide receiver, but if you look at the roster right now, you got DK, you have Pittman on the outside, on the perimeter. You need a slot weapon. I think this guy can work outside if he wants to at 5'11", 187. So it's not the worst side. Like he's not short to play outside. We've seen outside weapons that are smaller than him and succeeded. So he can branch outside if he wanted to. He's got that versatility, but he's primarily played in the slot, which frankly, as a 3, he would come in day 1, be an excellent number 3 in the slot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This guy's got a lot going for him. Yeah, there are some injury concerns that cost him games in 2023 and recently in 2025. But through that, this guy's a big play machine. 9 receiving touchdowns on throws that were 20 yards or more, which I believe is tied most in college football since
2024, as a matter
Yeah.
of fact, yeah. If only he had a better quarterback
Yeah.
at Clemson,
yeah.
which we don't like Cade Klubnik. We do not.
Well,
whatsoever.
not just quarterback. How about an OC? I mean, the
Or
OC
that
didn't do any favors for him either.
But like it goes to show the type of talent and player that Williams is, even with his surround system, just the stats that he put up here. And his ability as a wide receiver. I mean, his route running is definitely a strong suit of his.
That's one of the biggest things that pops out of him with his tape is, yes, he is a strong route runner. He uses a lot of good tempo changes and head fakes to, keep defenders guessing or to get open or to create space and find soft spots in coverage, especially zone coverage, right? He's got a way of getting open. He has long speed, which is exactly what you want to burn defenders. So he's got that route running and speed combination. Obviously, he has yak ability. He's a tough receiver as he's hard to take down. He doesn't really go down at first contact.
He's actually pretty capable of blocking in his own right, too. Even for his size, like, he is not afraid to get physical.
He's a very admirable blocker, very willing, very fearless, and is willing to get the job done. And another thing I noticed about his tape is this guy can make some of the toughest catches. For his size and his frame and his role, this guy's a tough receiver, man. He'll go out there, he'll make some really crazy catches that it's in high traffic or you wouldn't think he'd be able to hold on to the football, but this guy's got a low drop rate. He can make some of the toughest catches and even break off defenders and gain some extra yardage. That's the kind of receiver Antonio Williams is. Another underrated receiver in this draft class. Receiver stacked. Antonio Williams out of Clemson isn't getting talked about enough, and the Steelers didn't meet with him at the combine. I'm slowly and low-key waiting for him to get a top 30 visit because you notice a lot of the top 30 visits recently have been more so day 2 areas.
Yes.
Because they have so many of them. So they got to look at all their options, right? But they've met with him at the combine, and I'm just waiting for him to be a top 30 visit. But the interest indeed is there. I like Antonio Williams a lot. I think he's a solid blocker that puts in effort, and I think he'd be a very reliable slot receiver in the NFL.
And that's what I was going to get at, is he's reliable, and he does everything right. Like, rarely do you ever see a mistake when you watch film on Antonio Williams.
Yeah, reminds me a little bit of Jarvis Landry in a way, where Jarvis Landry wasn't always the flashiest guy. I mean, this guy's faster than Jarvis Landry, but he wasn't the flashiest guy. But he did all the right things right. He did everything right, all the good things right.
Yeah.
And frankly, as a wide receiver 3, that's all we could ask for.
That's not a bad comp either, Jarvis Landry.
No.
I mean, we know the type of career he ended up having, just very reliable. So
Right.
if we get something like that as a wide receiver 3 from Antonio Williams, that's a win in my book.
Agreed. Now, this won't be the only time we go receiver in this mock. I will spoil that for you. With the 85th pick, our second, third rounder here, we're going to go defensive line. Defensive line is one of those positions where I could definitely see them taking it early. This could be another BPA scenario for the Steelers. And frankly, it doesn't hurt to add more to the room. We could use an extra bit of youth. We could use more depth there, and more the merrier. We all know that we need depth at the defensive line. I like our depth so far. Y.A. Black and Tom Wu and obviously Sebastian Joseph Day they just signed. But adding another young piece is never a bad option.
No, never.
So with the 85th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Darrell Jackson, defensive lineman out of Florida State. We talk about a big dude. Now, we took Dominic Orange, big citrus, out of Iowa State in the last mock. I like him a lot. I really do, especially as a nose. I think Darrell Jackson has a little bit more versatility to him. He's big. He's 6'5.5", 315, 34 3/4 inch arms, and 11-inch hands.
He's huge.
bigger.
He's massive, bro.
He's bigger than Orange. He may not be as big in weight, but he's bigger.
As far as his wingspan goes, it's 86 inches.
Wow.
Talk about massive.
Wow.
That's what Darrell Jackson brings to the table. Not only is he massive, but he is just vicious. He is strong. He is a mauler as a defensive lineman, whether that's as a 3-tech or even as a nose tackle. And with that size, I think that could be where he fits best.
See, but that's the thing. Like, that versatility is he can branch out as a 3-tech. Maybe not immediately, because that's kind of Sebastian Joseph Day's role right now for at least the next year or two. I would start him out as the nose. That's a big body nose right there with a big wide wingspan that's going to close the gaps right in the middle, close the A, close the B, take on double teams, right? That's going to open up lanes for the other guys to make plays, the linebackers, the safeties around the line of scrimmage, right? That's what you want at the nose initially.
Kind of like how Sebastian Justice Day started as a Ram, if I'm not
Absolutely.
mistaken.
That's where I was going with it. He can kind of start as the nose and then eventually branch his way to be a rotational, potentially starting 3-tech. This guy does have some pass rush upside.
Yeah.
A little bit more than what Dominic Orange did. This guy is a stout run defender. He is a beast in the run defense, and he does show some upside as a pass rusher. So I think you start him as the nose, you work him primarily there, and then I think he can eventually branch out as a 3-tech. Maybe not immediately if you want to get his feet wet there in his rookie season in some package, or God forbid in some emergency situations. He has the flexibility to do it.
And the Steelers did meet with him at the Combine. He was actually one of the first people the Steelers ended up meeting with at the Combine. And I would not be surprised if he were to be one of the players that they bring in for a top 30 visit.
Right.
Just because of his sheer size and his versatility at the D-line. And because of the trenches, to which Khan and Weidl just absolutely adore. And just to add another player to the trenches, to the defensive line, a guy like Jackson, you can't beat it.
And frankly, you know, he still needs to grow more as a pass rusher, but he's not going to be a day one starter for you.
No, that's the great thing about him being a depth guy initially. Like, for him to develop and work with Pecco, or new defensive line coach, could do wonders for him.
Absolutely. So you bring him in, you play the nose, he can branch out as a 3-tech eventually, and then, yeah, you just have another versatile offense or defensive lineman underneath that system and that depth chart. Very much like another Sebastian Joseph Day in a way, only a lot younger. I like Darrell Jackson a lot, man. Someone that shows shown interest in, and frankly, again, could be a BPA selection here at 85. The 99th overall pick. You notice we didn't go corner yet. We didn't go safety yet. Where could we go here? I don't know how early or late they go corner or safety. It's just one of those positions. It depends on how the board falls or who's there or who they've shown the most interest to. And they've shown interest in a lot of the early guys, right? We're finally going to go corner/safety here. The reason I say corner/safety because this guy can do both. But I think would start off immediately as your slot. With the 99th overall pick, the comp pick we got from Dan Moore. Thank you to Dan Moore. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Jalen Kilgore, defensive back out of South Carolina, 6'1", 210, which fits the exact bill of what the Steelers want in their DBs. They want their tall guys. They want their bulky guys. They want the stocky defensive backs like JPJ, like they have with Corey Trice, like they got now in Jaquan Brisker, and guys like that. They want the stockier dudes. They want the tall. They want the length. Jamel Dean recently they just brought in. He's a tall, stocky guy. That is what Jalen Kilgore brings, bro. He is like a big-ass safety that can work immediately in the slot. Like, he can work so close to the line. He's versatile. He's a weapon for the defense.
Very versatile. That's the thing about him is his versatility, his size, and his speed. I believe he ran a 4.4 flat at the Combine. So you mix that size with the speed and the versatility, you got a damn good football player here in Kilgore in the secondary. Big, long frame. He's got blazing speed. And wherever he's been put on the field, he's produced. Initially, he saw action as a freshman when Nick Emenwari, an old teammate of his, got hurt in the season opener. And from there, his impact was felt. He was named a first-team freshman All-American after his first year. And in the next 2 seasons, his production only continued to go up from there, playing the star role, mainly in the slot and the box. So, again, the versatility. He can play in the slot and the box.
He's also a turnover machine. I think he got 5 interceptions along with 5 PBUs in 2024, and then followed up with 2 interceptions along with 10 passes defended.
In 25, where he was named a team captain.
Wow. He's got a big frame that can work in the slot and eventually branch his way out to the safety position if you really wanted to. But I think as a big nickel, a power nickel for the Steelers, yeah, Jalen Kilgore is definitely a favorite of mine.
And because of his size, he is a very reliable run defender and a strong tackler.
Very willing, very physical, very good in coverage. I like a lot of what Kilgore brings to the table. And I believe he is like one of the youngest guys we have in this mock draft at just 21 years old.
And that's the crazy thing about him. Just so young and has already produced greatly at the college level. Just a lot of upside.
I see a lot of people saying he's like a day 3 talent, like an early day 3 talent. Man, give him some respect. Throw him his flowers. He's a day 2 talent. That's why we take him here at the end of day 2 at 99.
And he was one of those guys, when looking at secondary prospects, he's one of the guys that kind of caught my eye immediately. And he's kind of been one of my guys throughout the whole draft process. Just a guy that, you know, I constantly kind of look back on and just keep watching his film. Is just like very athletic, very talented, versatile as all hell. just a young cat that has a lot of potential. And I think would fit greatly with the Steelers defense and Patrick Graham's scheme.
I agree. I really like Jalen Kilgore a lot, and you put him immediately in the slot, man, that is just a tough physical slot corner that you could really use to solidify that secondary, really. And if you want to keep Ramsey at safety, by all means. You want to put Kilgore at safety, by all means. Just more tools in the toolbox for Patrick Graham, man. Can't hate that. Now we move on to day three. Move on to day 3. And one position we did not take in the last mock draft was offensive tackle, because I don't know what they're going to do at offensive tackle. Broderick Jones may or may not be healthy enough by the time Latrobe comes in training camp. He might be on the PUP list because of that neck injury he suffered versus, I think it was the Bears.
It was the Bears, yes.
And Dylan Cook, he'll be back. He's going to be getting an opportunity to start, as he should, because he really showcased a lot at the end of the season, stepping in for what was an impossible task. But we could still use some extra depth. And as of now, they have not signed any offensive tackle-worthy depth.
As of this recording, no. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers were to actually use one of their day 2 selections for offensive tackle. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But for this mock, we're going to wait to their first pick of day 3 right here to get a bit of a backup plan at the left tackle position, or even just have a swing tackle depth. So with the 121st overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jude Bowery, offensive tackle out of Boston College.
Yeah, 6'5", 314. This is primarily depth, but depending on the Broderick Jones situation, we're looking at it as a backup plan, mostly at left tackle, where he saw a lot of his playing time, mostly at left tackle. Now, he's not shy to playing right tackle either. He's no stranger on that side, as that's where he played a lot of his time as a freshman. But then moving over to that left side, that's where he really started to hone his craft and find some growth there. I think it wasn't until 2024 he became the starting left tackle and started all 12 games, allowing only 2 sacks on 335 pass blocking snaps, and anchored in the run game, where Boston College produced 4 games where they rushed over 200 yards. That was 2024. In 2025, he was named a team captain and played only 9 games due to multiple injuries, unfortunately. But put on another good season in that many games and still allowing no sacks and over 300 passing blocks reps. So that goes to show you the guy that he can be at the tackle position. He's got that swing ability. But when he finally got over to that left side, it felt like he was comfortable. He's on his natural side. He started to hone his craft a little bit, which is a good thing, because that's kind of what we need at the moment. Like, we already have our right tackle solidified. We got our guy in Troy Fatano, right? Stayed healthy last year, had a good season.
He's holding it down over there.
We need a plan at left tackle. We need some extra insurance. And tackle depth altogether is necessary, because frankly, I couldn't tell you who our tackle depth is right now.
I think all it is really is Dylan Cook, at least off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have anybody else underneath him, but even then, it's like that's kind of a big risk to take there, to run with that. So
if you want to bring Jude Bowery in as like an insurance plan, or maybe he competes with a guy like Dylan Cook, depending on Broderick's injury or his recovery, right? That's all fine and dandy. But you're kind of looking at this as an insurance policy, but more so just, hey, this is our swing tackle guy that could work his way up.
Yeah, and that's a great start for a guy like Bowery, at that swing tackle guy, for him to continue to work on his craft, develop, work with our new offensive line coach, Campen. I mean, he brings some good stuff to the table. He's got good burst on screens and pulls. If
he
they
definitely
ever
does.
need to do that.
Like you see the way he comes out of that snap. He sets that edge really wide and fast.
He's just a guy on the move. He's a strong anchor, even going up against power rushers. Like, even if he gets pushed back, he plants his feet, and he does not get pushed back anymore.
I like his footwork. I love his hand placement. I like his initial punch. There's a lot to like about Bowie's game, and there's still a lot more where he could grow. There's some pad level stuff that's a little inconsistent that needs work on.
But that's all coachable, though.
Easily coachable.
That is very coachable.
And,
so for him to start off as swing tackle depth, that's a great starting point for Bowery. But depending on the Broderick Jones situation, you have a backup plan and a guy like him, depending on his development.
Agreed. And then telling by James Campen's track record, a lot of the guys that he's developed have been mid-round selections in the 4th, 5th round. Bowery could be another one. So we bring him in as tackle depth because, frankly, the more I think about it, I think it's necessary. We don't have that right now, and we just don't know what the future holds at the tackle position, left tackle position specifically. So bringing in a guy like Bowery is like a 2-in-1 deal. It's, hey, he's depth, but let's see what the guy's got. Let's see if he can build his way up the roster.
For sure.
We got one more 4th-round pick here, a comp pick, the 135th pick. We finally go wide receiver one more time. Because we got Antonio Williams at 76 in the slot. Primarily in the slot, he can flex out wide if you wanted to, but you're looking at him as mostly like the slot guy, right? We're gonna need some extra depth. We're gonna need like another X receiver, a backup X receiver, someone that can work their way up the roster himself, right? See time and rotations and whatnot. So we take another receiver here, and another very underrated one, someone that's not really getting a lot of attention for some reason. Kind of get the theme of this with wide receiver, right? So with the 135th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Dejon Stribling, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. Yeah, we go ahead and get a tall receiver at 6'2", 207. Kind of the theme of Mike McCarthy receivers. When you look at the Mike McCarthy receivers he selected, he wants those tall, stocky guys, right?
That's always been his pattern at wide receiver, yeah.
Those explosive athletes, those big playmakers.
But you mentioned the word explosive right here with Stribling. I mean, his 40-yard dash at the combine really
surprised me.
4.3, what was it? 4.36 40.
Yeah.
For that size, like, yeah, and you look at his film, you look at what he produces on the field, you definitely see that speed. And he uses that with his arsenal at wide receiver. With still room to grow at that, too.
Well, yeah, a lot of room to go because, I mean, I like the way he separates and gets off the line. It's real quick. It's real effective. But he could do a better job at creating a little bit more separation or honing down his route tree or his route technique a little bit. That's why you would bring him in as wide receiver depth. That way he could play the X if need be. But you're also looking at a guy with NFL speed, strong hands. He doesn't drop the ball very often.
No, he only had one drop last year.
One drop last year. He has a wide catch radius, great concentration and body control, who could high point the football and bring her down, right? Pretty much another contested catch guy. And he loves to block.
Yeah, he is actually one of the, in my opinion, one of the better blocking receivers in the draft. So he has everything that fits the profile of a Steelers wide receiver.
It kind of reminds me of Jawan Jennings.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, when you look at how he plays and his style of wide receiver, it's very Jawan Jennings-esque. And we all know how he has been and how reliable he is when he was a 49er. I think he's still a free agent for some reason. That's kind of mind-boggling to me.
Wasn't Jennings a day 3 pick too?
I believe he was. He was either a day 3 pick or undrafted. Nonetheless,
he was a 7th round pick.
And I see a lot of Jennings in Stribling's play.
So do I. I see a lot of it.
And you can't go wrong with that, especially to start off as a wide receiver 4. Maybe you compete with a guy like Roman Wilson, to which you could use the competition. But for him to start off as depth for DK and Pittman, that's a good starting point for him.
Agreed. He actually has been to 3 different schools. 3. He was originally at Washington State from 2021 to 2022, where he had 10 touchdowns total in his first 2 years there. And then he finally transferred over to, I believe it was
Oklahoma State.
It was with the Cowboys, not those Cowboys.
No.
But yeah, unfortunately, 2023 was hindered with injuries. You know, it was cut short after like 4 games.
That's it.
He bounced back in 2024 and had career highs in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. And then he finally transferred over to Ole Miss, where he paired with Chambliss.
Trinidad Chambliss built a very good connection with Trinidad.
Yeah, it was a very reliable receiver, a very good deep threat, kind of like a yak guy too, someone that could work in the middle, and he has that blazing speed to get through breakaway runs, right? I like a lot of Stribling's game. He's very reliable. He can work outside. You want to bounce him inside a little bit as a big power slot. By all means, you could do that too. But the guy's got a way of making plays down the field with some crazy catches, underneath, in the middle with some yak ability. He's an effective blocker. If you want to start him on special teams, by all means, get his feet wet. But I think it wouldn't take long for this guy to find a role in the offense. Initially as a blocker, and then give the guy a football. Give him a deep shot down the field. Let's see what this guy's capable of.
Yeah, this guy's a lot of fun to watch. Just very reliable, dependable, in almost every department that you want him to do. Just would be another good add to the receiving room.
Right. Now, as you guys know, if you guys been following, I know we need a left guard, and that's why we went Ioane at 21, right? I still believe wide receiver is our biggest need because we eventually need a number 1 receiver. We got DK, we got Pittman. We don't have that number 1. Perhaps with more bodies in the wide receiver room, it could allow DK to be that number 1. Take attention off him. We know DK needs the attention taken off him. What wide receiver 1 really doesn't, unless you're like just a unbelievable playmaker like a CD or like a Chase or a Jefferson. DK ain't that. But to make up for the contract that he signed, we're going to need some extra playmakers in the room to make up for his contract to allow him to try to be that wide receiver 1. And that's why we go 2 receivers here later than normal later than I would think the Steelers would do. But here, we kind of go BPA in some scenarios, and we still take wide receiver twice. We still double dip a receiver with Antonio Williams and then Deshaun Stribling. Two very underrated receivers that literally nobody's talking about. And I think they should start getting some attention. Now, the 5th round. We finally go quarterback, which is the earliest we've gone quarterback in the mock draft season since we started them.
Yes, the 5th round, because, I mean, you guys, if you guys have been following, you guys know our stance on the quarterback position in the draft class. It's not great. They should not take a quarterback in the first 2 days.
There's 3 or 4 guys I would take. Not until day 3. Do I see them potentially taking a quarterback at the end of day 2? Yes, I do. I do. There's only one guy I wouldn't mind, but it'll have to be at the back end of day 2, and that's Newsmeyer. We didn't take him in this mock yet. We're not taking him in this mock because he's not going to be there in the 5th. Maybe in future mocks. I don't know. To be determined. But the 5th round is kind of the sweet spot for us where we would be comfortable with taking a quarterback. That is the earliest we would be willing to take a quarterback because I think there's so many other positions we have to fill for depth or for other roles with the amount of picks we have before we go quarterback.
And again, this year is just not the year that you're going to find your franchise.
No.
It's arguably worse than last year's class. It's not good.
Yeah. So 5th round, we finally go quarterback. That's not to say we won't go quarterback earlier in our future mocks, but right here, we finally go quarterback in the 5th, the most comfortable spot for us to take a quarterback so early. With the 161st pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Cole Payton, quarterback out of North Dakota State. Now, we did put him in our first mock, pre-free agency, in the 7th round. Then he started gaining attention. He started raising his stock a little bit, and the Steelers did indeed meet with him for a top 30 visit. But that was after Tom Arth, our quarterback coach, was at the North Dakota State Pro Day.
Which I find very intriguing.
Where, obviously, Cole Payton immediately flew to Pittsburgh for his top 30 visit. So there is interest there. They've shown interest in Newsmeyer. They've shown interest in Cole Payton. They've shown interest in Jewelaire. They've shown interest in a couple guys at the quarterback position, but none more so now than Cole Payton as of now. We'll see what other quarterbacks they're bringing for top 30 visits, but so far, Cole Payton is the one guy on that list.
But you just look at what he brings to the table. First of all, his size, 6'3", 232 pounds, and you mix that with his athleticism as a scrambler, just what he's able to do on his feet and playing very confident in the pocket, and his skill set at that. I think I said this in the pre-free agency mock draft. His play style is very reminiscent of Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Just very flashy, versatile, a guy that can make moves on the field, whether it's with his arm or with his legs.
Well, 31 career touchdowns. I mean, he's a dual threat guy. Where I think he would come in, initially he would be the quarterback 3, quarterback 4, depending on where you want to put him on the depth chart. If he doesn't make the initial 53, you stash him on the practice squad, and then you kind of have him be like a scout quarterback for those mobile quarterbacks for game day, for game week, right? For certain game plans. Kind of model like a Lamar or any mobile quarterbacks we're going to be going up against for the season, right? But frankly, I think this guy could push to be the quarterback 3. We still don't know what the update is on Aaron Rodgers or what they're thinking is on Will Howard or Mason for the future. But you bring in Cole Payton, you have him compete in camp to be the quarterback 3 and see what he can do. I do like what his arm is capable of. His accuracy can be a little spotty, but one of his best traits as a quarterback is his deep throws. Like that is where he shines.
And a receiver like Bryce Lance, he definitely benefited from that.
I mean, Bryce Lance had almost 20. I think he had more than 20 yards a reception last year. Did Bryce Lance? It was something along the lines of that. I mean, Bryce Lance was definitely a favorite deep threat of Cole Payton for sure. Cole Payton, that's his best trait outside of his dual threat ability and his mobility. He loves to throw the ball deep, and he throws a very pretty deep ball. He gets some air on there. He throws with some accuracy. That is kind of where he shines. Overall, intermediate, middle of the field, underneath. He can hit his receivers. The ball comes out quick. He plays very confident in the pocket. He doesn't get too jittery. As much of a dual threat that he is and as mobile as he is, he's not one of those guys that immediately bails the pocket and says, you know what, fuck this, I'm just going to run it because I'm scared to throw in the pocket. This guy is willing to stay in the pocket and potentially even extend plays on his feet and allow his receivers to find ways of getting open before running the football. He's not a run-first guy. 31 touchdowns might make you think otherwise, but if you look at the tape, he is more than willing to stay behind the line of scrimmage and find a way to attack the ball deep, attack the ball down the field before using his legs.
It shows his confidence and his patience in the pocket and his ability to let the play develop and just continuously look for a target down the field. That's just how he is as a quarterback. That's something that you like to have in a guy like Cole Payton. Throw a flyer at the quarterback position in the 5th round, and a guy like Cole Payton, who the Steelers are clearly showing a lot of interest in. Why the hell not?
Right. And that's why we take Cole Payton here in the 5th round. He's starting to get a little bit more buzz, but we take Cole Payton here in the 5th round. It's one of the few quarterbacks I would not mind the Steelers taking in this draft class is Cole Payton. I like his mobility. I like his arm. I like his confidence. And I think there's room to grow here with Cole Payton. I think there's a little bit of flash to his game. Start him as the quarterback 3, and Lord knows what could happen. Right?
And for a left-handed quarterback, yeah, there's some stuff to like about his game for sure.
Yeah, for a lefty. It's crazy, right? Now we get into the later portion, the 6th and 7th rounds. Obviously, we have the 6th round pick, the 216th pick. At this point of the mock draft, these are essentially luxury picks, kind of just throwing darts at certain positions or
just to fulfill depth in other positions of that matter.
Adding competition to certain rooms and maybe fulfilling extra spots, low-key, right? That's kind of what we do here with the 6th round pick. With the 216th overall pick, the Steelers select Nate Borkacher, tight end out of Texas A&M. Tight end is one of those positions that we are consistently taking later on into the draft or in our mock drafts, mostly as a Connor Hayward replacement, but more so extra depth to be that number 3. Keep in mind, we cut Jonnu Smith, and Connor Hayward is now with the Raiders. We still need a tight end 3. It's not a pressing need, like, oh my God, we don't have a tight end 3, but we could use an extra body in that room. Borkacher is one of the better blocking tight ends in this draft class, who actually low-key has some receiving upside.
Yeah, and some versatility to bring to the table as well. He has experience lining up as an H-back, in line, of course, or in the slot. It's one of his strengths, which pairs perfectly with his blocking ability. And he's very, very vicious as a blocker. He's very dependable for Texas A&M.
Yeah, very, very strong. You line him at tight end beside the tackle. You put him at H-back, right? He's very effective with the chips, or if you want to have him essentially be the sixth man, right? On that line. He's very effective in pass protection. But as a run blocker, that's kind of where the game gets fun. This guy is a mover in the run blocking ability.
Now, here's the thing about him. He will be 25 when the season starts, so he's a very old rookie, to put it lightly.
Sure, but blocking tight ends can play forever.
Exactly. And listen, he's being a tight end 3. That's all we're asking him to do. He's a 6-year college player who started at Nebraska in 2020 where he redshirted. Then he played 3 games in 2021 where he only caught 2 passes that year. Mm-hmm. And then basically the next 3 years in 2022, 2023, and 2024 were, from a statistical standpoint, more of the same. He didn't really see a lot of catches or passes thrown his direction. It wasn't until he transferred to Texas A&M in 2025 when he won the starting tight end job and carved out a role which led to his most productive year.
Which isn't saying much because it was only like 19 catches, barely 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So
from a receiving production, it doesn't look like much, but it doesn't mean that he can't do it. If the ball is thrown in his direction, he can make some tough catches. As a matter of fact, last year he had an 86% catch rate on 22 targets.
Yeah.
So he's shown that he can be dependable, but it wouldn't exactly be his calling card or exactly what he needs to do.
No.
All we're asking him to do is to block, and he's shown he can do that time and time again.
Yeah, he would be the guy underneath Darnell Washington as an extra blocker, or in goal line packages. You want to bring on Darnell and Borkacher as the main blocks? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You put Darnell on one side of the line, you put Borkacher on the other side, you put them side by side, and you run a wide zone run into the end zone with Warren or Rico or whoever. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're getting a touchdown, my boy. So that's why I like Borkacher. I like a lot of what he brings to the table as a run blocker. And frankly, for that role as a tight end, even if you want to line him up at fullback, that's a big-ass fullback at 6'5", almost 250. He can do it.
He can do it. I mean, that would fit perfectly for a tight end 3.
Yeah. Again, these are just more filling out positions, bringing in competition, and frankly, just they're luxury picks. You got so many picks. You have 12 picks in this draft. I wouldn't anticipate every single one of them to be like, oh my God, what a massive hit. This guy's going to be a future starter for a decade, right? You're looking for depth guys. You're looking for role players, guys that are going to come on the field and do their job to the best of their ability.
Or just be given that opportunity to compete and fight for a roster spot and whatnot, show what they can do, or even be a special teams player.
Now we get into the 7th round. We have 3 of these. We got 3 of them. The 224th pick, the first one here, we're going to go defensive back again, more so safety. With the 224th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Cole Wisniewski, defensive back out at Texas Tech. He is not related to Steven Wisniewski,
Former Steeler, by the way.
and Eagle. How many of y'all remember him?
Yeah, that's a throwback. That's an old offensive lineman.
Yeah, that is a throwback.
Not related, but Cole Wisniewski, just look at his size, bro. 6'4", 220 pounds.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Reed Blankenship. And no, it's not because he's a white safety. It's just the way he plays. He's a better coverage safety than Reed Blankenship, but also could see somewhat of a similar story. Blankenship got selected late. Was he selected at all?
No, he was undrafted.
He was undrafted. That's crazy.
And he actually got a bag from the Texans in free agency, too.
He did.
So good for Reed.
But Wisniewski is worthy of getting selected, even if it's late into the 7th. We double dip at Texas Tech. You know the Steelers absolutely love to take teammates and double dip at schools, right? So, yeah, that's why we take Cole Wisniewski here. You watch this guy's tape. There is one word, or there's one term I can describe him. He's a missile. The guy is not afraid to attack the ball carrier. This guy is not afraid to attack whoever has the football. Like, he has such great range along the field and good speed and a good eye, a good nose for the ball, especially in the run game. He can sniff out plays before they're even diagnosed. He could sniff out screenplays before the ball is even out of the quarterback's hands, and he's right there to meet the ball carrier at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. The guy is a playmaker from up top. He's versatile, so he can line up in the box if he wanted to as a big box safety to work in the run game. He can work as a free safety to range the whole field and work in coverage down deep, but also sniffing out plays underneath. And he has such great range and good speed to work downhill. I like a lot of Wisniewski's game, and that's where he would get his feet wet, mostly as a special teamer, because he just has that heat-seeking mindset. Like, I'm going to go down the field, and this guy's going to feel it. Like, I'm going to hurt this dude. That's what Wisniewski brings to the table.
And honestly could fill the void as a special teams ace, considering the Steelers did lose Miles Killebrew at the safety position. So if they're looking for like a fill-in or even a replacement at that, with Wisniewski's play style, what he brings to the table, that fits perfectly for a special teams ace. And just that size and that speed that he brings.
Well, he's only played safety 2 years, Rob.
2 full seasons at safety, because initially he was a linebacker where he started in 2021 at North Dakota State.
Former teammate of Cole Payton.
Yes.
So a little bit of chemistry, not only with Jacob Rodriguez, but Cole Payton as well.
Just a little bit. Now, the thing about Wisniewski is he does have a bit of an injury history, because in 2022, he did miss the first 7 games due to injury. But then that's when he transferred to safety in 2023, where he had his most productive year at North Dakota State, where he recorded 8 interceptions in 13 games.
Holy shit.
Absolutely insane.
Words are.
But unfortunately, he would miss the entire 2024 season due to a foot injury. That was when he was at North Dakota State up until he transferred to Texas Tech, where he played a big part in their defense, recording 78 tackles, 6 tackles for losses, 1 sack, and 6 pass breakups.
Still a good season in his first and only year as a Texas Tech.
Yeah, playing every single game. I think starting every single game, as a matter of fact.
But the guy's got versatility. He can work anywhere along the defense. But frankly, you're not bringing him in to be a starter, right? You already got your stars. You got your safety depth, right? He would bring in and kind of solidify that safety depth, but mostly start out as special teams, maybe work his way up the roster where he could see time as a rotational piece on the defense. But this is kind of like, hey, we're going to bring him in for competition for maybe like a Darnell Savage, right, to make the roster. We're going to work him in special teams, see if he can kind of take that Miles Killebrew role. And then depending on how much he shows in camp and on the field, he might see some time with the starting lineup as a rotational piece. I like a lot of his game.
Yeah, I love what he brings to the table, and that's a special teams ace. I think he would fit greatly in that role.
Yeah, because this is a guy that, again, he's just a downhill striker, a downhill missile. He rarely misses tackles. He's got that linebacking background. Like, there's a lot to like about Wisniewski's game. So start him out of special teams as like that ace and that Killebrew replacement. But don't sleep on him potentially seeing some time on the field as like an actual safety or some sort of playmaker. But this guy would help a lot in many areas. But Wisniewski, we double dip at Texas Tech and double dip at defensive back here. The 230th pick we got from the Colts with the Michael Pittman trade. We're going to go wide receiver one more time, except it's not really wide receiver because he doesn't have a lot of offensive production.
But no, where his production is returning.
Yes.
As he is a damn good return specialist. 230th pick. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Caden Wetjen, kick returner out of Iowa.
Yes, kick returner. We don't have a kick returner.
We don't.
It could be the new running back we just signed, Travis Homer. That could also just be primarily like a special teams gunner role. Maybe
I find him as like a Benny Snell, if you remember him, as a special teams
I'd rather
gunner.
not, but yes.
As a special teams gunner, that's where Snell fit best.
Right.
That's where I see Homer more as far as a role goes.
But Wedgen is one of the best kick returners or return specialists, kick punt returners, because you can do both. He's one of the best return specialists to come out of college in recent memory. He is a 6-year college player who is indeed 24 years old, but as a kick returner, like, who have an immediate impact in the NFL. Like, that is his top role. That is exactly what he's going to do. That is his spot right there. He's a shifty and fast returner with excellent down the field vision with his kick returns. Like, there's a lot of tape where you see this guy just breaking away for touchdowns or big runs or getting away from defenders and finding some lanes. This guy has great acceleration and a tendency to just get up the field, man. A lot of kick returns, a lot of kick return touchdowns to the point it gave him kick return honors.
Big time.
Multiple times, actually.
He made history, bro.
First 2-time winner of both the Jet Award and Rogers Dwight Award, both awarded to the top kick return specialist of the year.
That was for his 2024 and 2025 seasons.
Yeah.
Where he really put his name on the map right here. In his 3 years at Iowa, he returned 56 kicks for 1,538 yards, which is an average of 27.5, and 2 touchdowns to pair together with also returning 54 punts for 954 yards, which was an average of 17.7, but having an average of 26.8 in 2025, which was an NCAA Division I record, and having 4 punt return touchdowns, with 3 of them coming in 2025.
Wow.
Totaling 6 return touchdowns at Iowa, which is now a school record.
That is unbelievable. 6?
Yes.
6 total return touchdowns.
That is correct, Dan.
I don't think that's ever going to be broken, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Having career longs such as a 100-yard kickoff return, an 85-yard punt return, and a 95 punt yard return.
Wow.
So Wedgen shows that he is very capable. He can do it.
Yeah, this guy's coming in and you being your immediate day one kick and punt return.
And he would have an immediate impact right there in the NFL.
And the Steelers didn't meet with him at the combine as well because they need a return specialist. We haven't had an electric return specialist. Let's go down the list.
AB. But like, look at the experiments that they tried. Remember
Steven Sims.
Remember
Who remembers that? Ray McLeod.
Remember Ray was probably our last recent good one, if you don't count Calvin Austin.
Deontay Spencer. Does anyone remember him?
What about Ryan Switzer? Remember him?
I don't want
Mr.
to.
Fair Catch?
Gunnar Olszewski.
Yeah, let's not talk about him. Let's not.
You want a white dude returning kicks? Get this guy. Swear to God.
He has made a resume. He has accolades of being one of the more dynamic return specialists to come out in college in recent memory.
Yeah. So you go out and grab this guy. For a 7th round pick, whoop the shit. Go grab this guy.
And keep this man in the black and gold.
Yeah, dude. Plus, the Steelers love Iowa, Cat. They love their Iowa guys because Y.A. Black, Caleb Johnson, who we'll see what his future holds.
Logan Lee.
I mean, they love their Iowa guys, man. They love repeating at school. So why not, again, with one of the more electric guys coming out? Caden Wedgen, man. Make him a Steeler, no matter what. One more pick in this mock. Again, most of these picks in the end are just luxuries. Competition, extra depth pieces, and kind of just fill in certain spots, right? With the 237th pick, the final pick in this mock, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Mason Reiger, edge out of Wisconsin, because, having 2 incredible Wisconsin edge guys is enough. Why not a 3rd one? You can never add too much to the edge room. We already have 4 really good edge guys, which will probably be the last year that we have all 4 together, because impendingly, Nick Herbig's getting extended and one of the other older heads got to go. Which is kind of where the Reiger selection might come into play, because Reiger I like him a lot as a pass rusher. 6'5", 251. He'd be mostly a camp body and edge depth unless they keep 5 edge guys, which is unbelievably rare.
Very rare.
I don't know if this guy would make the roster in 2026, but if you stash him on the practice squad, perhaps he could find an early role in 2027.
Or for, knock on wood, injury situations, because when it comes to the Steelers and their edge group, for some reason, just the main three just can't seem to stay healthy altogether.
Yeah, at the same time.
That's always been an issue for many years now.
When Highsmith gets hurt, Herbig fills in the second. Highsmith's back, Herbig gets hurt, and we
can never have him fully all the time.
No, and they didn't bring back Jeremiah Moon, who was a restricted free agent, and they didn't bring him back. So, frankly, the way I'm looking at it is, hey, let's have that extra insurance, and why not another cat out of Wisconsin, right? I like Riger's game a lot, man. He is very physical at the line. He's very intense. He's got a good bend and a good arsenal of pass rush moves to get to the quarterback. He's very strong. He's got a little bit of burst to him, right, with a 4.78 speed. Frankly, I think this is more of those selections where he'd be insurance, but potentially have a bigger role down the line. I don't think he would make the roster in 2026. Frankly, with 12 draft picks, like let's say the Steelers select with all their 12 picks. Realistically, how many of them might make the roster? I'm looking at Riger as more so like hey, he may not be an immediate, guy now, but who's to say, like, knock on wood, someone gets hurt, we elevate him from the practice squad, he fills a spot there, works special teams, works rotations, then in 2027, that role gets permanent for him.
And he had himself an impressive year. In his lone year at Wisconsin at that, he started 11 games but played all 12. He had 5 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 6 tackles for loss, and a total of 45 pressures. So he's shown what he's very capable of as a pass rusher.
45 pressures in his lone season with the Badgers.
Yes. That's a great indication that he can rush the passer. He's got good pursuit. He's got good hustle. He's got good work ethic and solid against the run as well.
Wasn't he the defensive MVP at the Shrine Bowl?
The Shrine Bowl, where we got 3 sacks.
Wow.
So he stood out big time in the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
To sweep the competition.
Yeah, that's why I like Riger a lot, man. He's big body. He's such a good pass rusher. He got a way to get to the quarterback. He may not come away with too many sacks, but that pressure and the way he generates to damage that pocket and force that quarterback to get jittery, right? That's what he brings to the table. That's kind of what he would bring to the table initially for camp as a camp body and training camp and work his way up. That's kind of why we take edge here, because it's low-key one of those positions that they secretly could take, because you do got to think, hey, we could use an extra insurance guy, and frankly, we could use an extra guy to permanently fulfill that 4th edge piece with someone eventually leaving, whether that's Highsmith, Watt, or Herbig. Preferably not Herbig, but Lord knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at it as. Like, this is the last year we're going to have the 4 guys in that room, which is Herbig, Highsmith, Watt, and Jack Sawyer. This is going to be the last year. I am confident in saying this is the last year that they're going to be able to have all 4 of those guys.
Right.
Then eventually you're going to have to find that next 4th guy. That's where Mason Riger comes in.
And the Steelers have always made it a big priority, and I don't think that changes with Mike McCarthy and Patrick Graham. They've always made it a priority about, stabilizing the edge piece, the edge position with 4 very good, capable guys. That's why they took Jack Sawyer in the 4th round of the draft last year, to stabilize the edge position. I could absolutely see with them having as many picks as they have in the draft, to throw a flyer at the edge position just to kind of have a bit of a backup plan for the number 4 edge piece for maybe years down the line.
Yeah, but seeing how this guy started his career at Louisville and then unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury in 2024 before transferring to Wisconsin, and seeing what he did and how he's really risen his stock a little bit, where he might actually get a call come day 3, right? Maybe even earlier by some chance. I like a lot of this guy's story and what he brings to the table. For a depth piece, special teams guy, and then an eventual permanent piece on the edge room or in the edge room, I like Riger here in the 7th round to close this mock out. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our 3rd official Steelers mock draft this offseason, but our 2nd official post-free agency mock draft here. A little bit of a different approach.
No trades.
No trades and no receiver until the 3rd round, which I don't know if that's going to happen again in future mocks, because I'm still very pressing on receiver going mad early or with being within the first 2 picks. But we decided to go a different approach here, because perhaps we do go trenches again in the 1st round. Perhaps we do take guard if Ilwani is there. Perhaps we go BPA with a lot of these picks. And, you know, frankly, with the guys that they're looking at with top 30 visits and everyone they met with and at the combine and the pro day visits they're having, they're really looking at all options on the table, man. I don't think they're solely focused on certain positions. They're kind of looking at everything at the table. It's like a big buffet to them. They're looking at everything, and their mindset's not on one thing. They're looking at everything and seeing what they could pick, what they could choose, what they could add to their plate, right? It's a good problem to have for the Steelers. So that's why we kind of go with a BPA approach, with a big bully guard in the first, then we go linebacker, and then we finally go receiver. We double dip there, we take a corner, we double dip in the secondary, we get more on the offensive line, right? We add more to the offense with a quarterback and a tight end, and then the kick returner. That's kind of the approach we wanted to have in this one. Kind of take a different approach and kind of see where we went with. And I think what we did here was a pretty solid mock draft. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How do you guys like this mock draft? If you guys have any feelings or any ideas or any particular takes on some of these prospects, let us know down in the comments, as well as your guys' own mock drafts. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. As always, we greatly appreciate y'all, and stay tuned for more draft content and the next Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft. See you in the next one.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!